Hello and welcome to The Investor's Opinion. Is Virgin Galactic a good investment? Well, to determine whether or not a company is a good investment, we must look at qualitative and quantitative. But before I look at that, I want to tell you guys one thing first. This is a speculative investment. This is a company that has no financials. Our quantitative analysis will essentially be, this is how many seats, this is how many tickets they're hoping to sell by time period B. Let's hope that this margin is enough to leverage off into other things. That's our speculation. This is very broad, maybe a little pessimistic, but this is something that we have to realize. And if it is speculative, I implore you to take good portfolio discipline and make sure you don't just dump thousands, a large quantity of your portfolio into a stock that has very, very little fundamental reasoning. So if we look at our qualitative, we have a strength. If we look at our qualitative analysis, we can break it down to a SWOT analysis pretty quickly with this company. We have our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Firstly, strengths, we can say that these guys are a first mover. They have a fantastic management team, Richard Branson, CEO Whiteside, amazing experienced individuals with a lot of weight and a good amount of contacts. This is really good when you're trying to enter an industry that is so closed off. Government run, government funded. There's a lot of friction in this particular industry that they need to get through, and the fact that they have men at the helm that have phone numbers in their phone book that allow them to contact NASA and push these deals through is absolutely incredible and a great sign. It's one of the biggest strengths I would give it. It also has moved its infrastructure into in-house building. And this is really good for aerospace to go in-house, mostly because a lot of what kills aerospace or tourism or transport is consumer confidence. And we need to make sure that there is a great safety rating to provide that there's going to be consumer confidence. We do not want this company to go the way of the Concorde. If something bad happens, we want people to still feel comfortable buying and sitting on those planes. I would like to call that particular strength stickiness. They have this ability to go through the waves of the economy and still come out the other side strong or stable. So next we can look at weaknesses. And I think it's a glaring weakness to say that they are a speculative stock. One of the weaknesses of Virgin Galactic is their safety. And it's not as if the company itself isn't good with safety. It's just the fact that during the Gemini and Apollo missions, many astronauts died through technical failings in testing. They have already lost 2 pilots, Virgin Galactic, and it wouldn't be improbable to say that they might lose more. And now if we move on to opportunities, we can easily see that they've got 3 main opportunities that they're starting to branch out into. The first would be the tourism industry, strictly very tourism, like to the definition of the word. They are trying to take people to space to be clarified as actual astronauts, thanks to confirmation from Richard Branson and NASA. This experience will be undoubtedly an extraordinarily one for the people who can afford the $250,000 price tag. Now, this price tag is not priced for the likes of you and very likely most of the people that watch this video. It's priced for the people who, on the yearly basis, charter a $500,000 yacht or buy $10 million cheap private jets. It's not something that's out of the top 1% of the world. It's hard for the individual retail investor to conceive whether or not the price ticket will be good, but from a purely stand back, broader, objective point of view, it's very much, there is a huge market to be captured in that particular price bubble. And that's not to say that the price will move down as demand creeps up and more. This may take years, but the idea is that this company will be able to keep using this tourism business as leverage for their other 2 opportunities that they're pursuing currently. The first one is a contract with NASA for hypersonic point-to-point travel. The concept and the speculation comes that it will be intercontinental hypersonic travel, where they have spaceports in locations placed around the world on highly congested, which allow the company to sell tickets to individuals who wish to travel from one side of the world to the other in an incredibly short amount of time. Obviously, they need to build the planes, they need to ramp up production, they need to get to a very, very steady and stable point to be able to provide that something of a service. But the fact that the contract from NASA is there to test its engineering and economic feasibility is a fantastic sign for the company in the long run. Now, the last opportunity that they're actually just very recently been given a contract to do is train astronauts and private individuals to take them to the ISS. This is an incredible opportunity. This puts them in the back pocket of NASA as a fundamental point to get people from just your average normal consumer to a spacefaring individual. So these three opportunities are quite incredible and give a lot of potential growth to the speculation stock, which is something that we very much would like to see in a speculative stock. We would like to see that share price grow. And we will see that with them entering into new contracts, pursuing and executing on those contracts, and actually providing the services and showing us that the revenue and profit is realizable. Now, if we move on to the last point of our SWOT analysis, this is probably one of the most difficult ones and probably one of the ones that people will argue will be the best excuse for the bearish outcome. And this is competition or threats. We can see a lot of new companies entering into the space, and though Virgin Galactic may be a first mover on the publicly traded end, there are a lot of companies who have been in the industry for far longer and have a lot more funding and reputation that could push them and almost push Virgin Galactic out. SpaceX, Blue Origin, and any other privately funded or government-funded aerospace agency, Lockheed and Martin are even under contract with NASA to try and produce the world's first fusion engine. These contracts and these innovations, whether they be tech or service, may be beneficial or detrimental to Virgin Galactic's business model, and it's something that we have to be on the ball with at all times. Any development in the area may have a very drastic effect on the company that you are investing in, and we need to make sure that we keep a good view on this particular industry. Thankfully, this is actually quite a fun company to observe, as space is quite an interesting topic. So that would be my qualitative analysis. Tell me what you think. Drop me a like if you could. This is the first video since my original laptop one. Hopefully the quality is a lot better. I understand the sound is a bit bad, and I know you can see the mic in the back. Don't tell me you can't. And I will be using that as soon as I can figure out how the hell I can get the two working together. If there's any questions about this company that you wish to get a little bit more in depth, or anything you would give me suggestions for these videos, just drop them in the comments there. And a lot of what I do is fundamental analysis. So I like to look at value. I like to look at financials, and it's so much easier to look at an Apple and go, 100 billion in the bank, she's good to go. But when you look at a company like Virgin Galactic, the only thing on their balance statement, their quantitative analysis, is the fact that they're putting money into research and development. And that's what we want to see. Other than that, if they were moving money out of research and development, then you would see some pretty big bird flags. But we're not seeing that. We're seeing good amount of money in research and development, contracts being made, good momentum in the whole sector as a whole, which I think will give a lot of catalyst for the stock. Personally, I think as a speculative stock play, you're gonna have a lot of shit picks, and I think that as far as any other speculative play on the market right now, Virgin Galactic is probably a really, really good bet. And that is what a speculative analysis, an educated guess, a bet, a use of your own disciplines and your own ideologies and information and academics to be able to say that this company is very likely to go on, and therefore I will invest money because that probability is high enough for me to justify that. This has been the investor's opinion. I hope to do more videos in the future. I actually kind of want to do a Tesla one because I can talk a lot more about the fundamentals. Have a great day, and good hunting.